This is the Consumer Snapshot for June 2013, and this month we'll dive into three areas. Sentiment, with an updated look at confidence and how consumer outlook is faring compared to years past. In strategy, we'll take a look at practical purchasing and what this means to retailers. And then finally, our discovery this month is a look at young student loan holders and how those millennials are coping financially while working off their educational debt. First up is a 13-month view of economic sentiment. Those very confident or confident in chances for a strong economy perk up in June, rising a point to 40.6%. While we haven't seen any consecutive months of increase since the third quarter of 2012, confidence among consumers has trended upward year over year. And that may be an encouraging sign as the back-to-school shopping season rapidly approaches. Let's now take a look at confidence compared to years past so we can really put this uptick in sentiment into perspective. From 2009 to 2012, confidence seems stuck in a holding pattern, right at 30%. Perhaps consumers have finally broken free from this post-recession curse, but I still think that sentiment is sitting in a pretty precarious position, and I would certainly characterize consumers as uncertain, yet hopeful about the economy and where it is headed, and I think you'll see more of why this is as we attempt to answer this question. Has rising confidence positively affected consumers' financial plans and spending outlook? Consumers who say they've become more practical and realistic in their purchasing is located in blue on this chart. As you can see, this indicator has only ticked down a point from June 2012, so pragmatic purchasing habits are remaining relatively intact year over year for the near majority of consumers, even as confidence has grown. And that signals continued cautious and mindful spending. The other indicator on display here shows the percentage of consumers who are focused on just what they need when shopping, rather than what they want. I call this a measure of wandering eyes. This indicator has dipped 4 points over the past year, which may be a sign that consumers have become a little more impulsive with their spending, or maybe entertaining thoughts of shopping off their lists. However, with consumers still engaging in cautious, mindful spending, and with the majority still focused on just the necessities, don't expect a spending free-for-all anytime soon. So what does this all mean to retailers? Shoppers might be more motivated to upgrade from a generic to name brand, sample new products, and shop a little off the list. However, with practicality remaining prominent, motivation via special sale, promotion, or coupon will still help pique interest among these shoppers. With a fresh batch of job hunters entering the market this quarter and student loan debt a current topic of conversation, I thought it'd be interesting to take a look at how young professionals with educational debt are coping financially for this month's discovery. These millennials are our future leaders, and the spending and saving patterns that they're developing now could set the standard for future financial behavior. Now, according to the Federal Reserve Bank of New York, student loan debt is the only form of consumer debt that has increased since the peak of consumer debt in 2008. Balances of student loans have eclipsed both auto loans and credit cards, making student loan debt the largest form of consumer debt outside of mortgages. Total borrowers under the age of 30, our young professionals, are 15 million strong. This age group has amassed $322 billion in total student loan debt, and the 30 to 39-year-old age group isn't far behind with $321 billion in educational debt. Now finally, the average balance among these young borrowers is just north of $21,000. Now let's begin our discovery with young student loan holders' outlook on the economy. With the majority of these borrowers feeling very confident about chances for a strong economy, this group is about 30% more optimistic compared to the general public. Perhaps we can attribute some of this to young consumers' generally more liberal political stances. But take a look at this item on the stock market. 45% of young student loan holders think the stock market accurately reflects the strength of the economy, compared to just 32% of adults 18 plus. These young borrowers are also about 70% more likely to be planning to purchase stocks in the next 3 months versus the overall population. So building wealth seems to be paramount for many in this group. But that's not to say they are building wealth because they are spendthrifts. Practicality is a priority among young student loan holders, and they exhibit a more intense focus on needs over wants as well. When we take a look at their financial plans, we see that young student loan holders tend to be more conservative. Increasing savings and paying down debt are priorities, and more so than the general public. They are also more likely than average to decrease overall spending and pay with cash more often. And they feel more financially stable as well. Over 2 out of 5 young borrowers feel they are saving enough for future needs, compared to fewer than a third of adults in general. So are these young consumers swimming in debt or building a more solid financial future for themselves? It's likely a mixture of both, but perhaps these are financial habits they'll adopt for the long haul, putting them in better positions than the generations that they are following. And that's all for this month. You can also keep tabs on our latest discoveries by heading over to prosperdiscovery.com. Thanks for watching.